Here you go, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Kalashanji's Dham, Srimad Bhagavatam class. Krishna House at the moment is on vacation or leave. Quite a few of them are just approached the Holy Dham. It's very exciting, so we can all mourn though missing those that are gone, and appreciating those who are still here. And so what we'll do is we'll suspend our Krishna House curriculum for the sixth canto that we're in currently, and we'll focus on chapter 2 of the first canto while they're gone. I'm also mentioning this because, with them gone, there's Ajit and Drista and Prema. She's been gone for a little while, but we don't have so many speakers during the weekdays. So if anybody out there in the ether or anybody here that's willing to give classes during the weekdays, please let me know. Tulsi Saki Prabhu is so kindly said she'll do Mondays. So I was scheduling myself for Thursday, but I'll step in here on Monday, and it's given me this opportunity to ask for some help from you devotees to fill in for class. It's a wonderful opportunity speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It's so fun. It's nervous. You get nervous. I'm not trying to say that there's not nerves and stuff, but the benefit that you get from it is just so immense. And then when you get going, you kind of get over that little fear at first. That's healthy, right? I heard recently that fear comes from desire. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Fear comes from desire. And so we can have a good desire, right, is to please the devotees. And so the fear can be like, whoa, I'm sitting on the Vyasa-san, I'm speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, and I really desire to share Krishna consciousness with the devotees. So that's a healthy fear, right? The desire to please the devotees, to please Srila Prabhupada, to please the deities, but it doesn't have to be a fear that stops us, right? It can be a fear that we overcome and we try. And just like riding a bike, it doesn't just come natural for most people, right? It takes some practice. You might fall down a couple times, but that's okay, because you know what? Most people that are sitting on this Vyasa-san, they've gone through it before. They've fallen quite a few times and they got back up. And so we just want to see, people succeed, and so there's a great encouragement that you'll get by sitting on the Vyasa-san and being vulnerable to make mistakes, and but with the intention of pleasing the devotees. So let's sing Jai Radha. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Ram. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Radha Madhava Kunjabiyari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalasanji, Radha Kalasanji, Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nasta Prayashabhabreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamhasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Gyan Jamarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam hina tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So it's the second chapter of the Bhagavatam, right? It's entitled Divine and Divinity. Let's see right here. Yes, Divinity and Divine Service. It's going to be a follow-up from the first chapter, which is what? What's going on in the first chapter? The sages are sitting there, right? And they're performing a yajna, right? And what do they say is the result of their yajna? Anybody remember? Actually, they say the result of their yajna is that they're just getting fire ashes on them. They've on nothing because they're just the salt, is that what it's called, from the fire yajna is just getting on them. They're really finding no result of the fire yajna, and so they figure that because they've noticed that they want to do something because this age of Kali is quickly approaching, right? And so they decide that they're going to do this fire yajna, but they're not finding any results from it. But they decide that it would be wise for Sutta Goswami to tell them what is best for us to do with the age of Kali Yuga coming. And they ask Sutta Goswami 6 questions, right? So let's go into text 1, and then we'll go into those 6 questions. Vyasa uvacha. Oh, it's a little bit... 1 second, let me get it here on the... having some technical difficulties, right? Yet, Hare Krishna. Technology, it makes everything easier, right? I don't know why it's not working. Connect. List display. Connect. Let's try it one more time. Maybe that would be a good idea. Let's try that, please. Sorry. Okay, while we're getting this figured out, okay. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's spoken for our benefit, right? And said that the Srimad Bhagavatam, the first 2 cantos are the lotus feet of Krishna, right? And so we like to stay at the lotus feet of Krishna, right? We feel comfortable in these first 2 cantos, right? It said that Srila Prabhupada actually says in one of his purports to move on beyond this first 2 cantos is to be free of illicit gross sex. Whoa, wow, So thank goodness in the association of the devotees here that we're going to assume that everybody's free from those, and so we speak on the things like the 3rd canto, and the 4th canto, and the 5th canto, and now we're in the 6th canto. Let's go one more time. Why? I mean, in the 3rd canto, it's pretty interesting because, right, we get into the story of, I'm forgetting the names of the devotees, right? But she wants kids, right? He says, "Oh, I'm in tapasya, I'm in my meditation, not right now." And she says, "Nope, right now." And he says, "Okay, fine." So we get into this really interesting subject right away. And so the first 2 cantos, the lotus feet of Krishna, the sages are asking these 6 questions, and Sutta Goswami is going to expand on them. Here we go. Okay. Vyasa uvacha. Eti samprasyanya samhistro Iti samprasna samprasto vipranam ramu harsanahai vipranam rama harsanahi prati puja vachastesham prati puja vachastesham pravaktum upachakrame pravaktum upachakrame. Bolo, please. Vyasa uvacha iti samprasna sampristo vipranam ramaharsanahi prati puja vachastesham pravaktum upachakrame. Vyasa uvacha iti samprasna sampristo vipramasha ramashane prati puja vatastesham bravaktum upachakrame. Vyasa uvacha iti samprasana samristo rupanam ramaharshane prati puja vachastesham pravaktum upavakrame. A translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ugrasvara Sutta Goswami, the son of Rupa Harshan, being fully satisfied by the perfect questions of the Brahmanas, thanked them, and thus attempted to reply. Purport. The sages of Namaskaranos asked Sutta Goswami 6 questions, and so he's answering them one by one. Wow. So, Srila Prabhupada has kindly given me some work to do to fulfill this purport. We're kidding around, but yeah. Okay, so there's 6 questions being asked and by the sages of Namaksharanya, and they're asking Sutta Goswami these 6 questions, and these are for the benefit of humanity at large, for the age of Kali, right? And so, one by one, let's see if we can get these 6 questions. What are they? One per person. Who knows one of the questions that is asked by the 6 Goswamis, or 6, or the 6 questions answered by the sages? 6 Goswamis. That's funny. Anybody? Jaishnav, what's one of the questions asked? Any idea? Any guess? Yeah, what's the ultimate good for humanity? There we go, 1. Anybody else? Come on, the lotus feet of Krishna, right? If you don't know the lotus feet of Krishna, how can you go further? Come on, guys, we can do this. Guess, what are the 6 questions? What's that? Is there a process? Is there a process? It's really, I think that's really close to one of the questions, right? What was that, Mataji? Were you? Yeah, once Krishna left, where's religious principles going? So what's the process? Dharma. Yes, here you go. Anybody else? Yeah, right, yes. Anybody else got one of the questions? By the way, I know some of the questions, but I can't shoot them off myself, so I have them right here on my phone. So if you can't remember, it's okay, but maybe you can give a guess, or kind of like, oh, what were the questions that they asked Sutta Goswami? What are some intelligent questions they might ask? How about why did he take birth? Why did Krishna take birth in the womb of Devaki? Krishna's a Krishna, he could appear in so many different ways, right? But he chose to take birth from Devaki. Why was that? Any other questions that we can think of? Oh, please don't. How about what are the avatars, right? What incarnations? There we go. What incarnations of Krishna will appear? What are the incarnations of Krishna? That's 4. Any other ones we can remember? We'll open it up to people who've answered already. Tulsi, do you remember any? 5th? What are Krishna's pastimes? What are his pastimes? And then I think that we kind of mixed one in, but it's what is the ultimate good, right? We answer that, and then what is what is the essence of religious scriptures? Okay, so what is the ultimate good for all people? What is the essence of religious scriptures? Why did the Lord take birth from Devaki? What acts does he perform? What are his leelas? What are his avatars? And where has Dharma gone now that Krishna has left? And so in this chapter 2, Sutta Goswami, as Srila Prabhupada said, we'll start asking them one for one. The Srimad Bhagavatam is amazing, right? Even scholarly people who don't appreciate as Krishna will look at this and they'll reference Srimad Bhagavatam for its poetry, for its stories. It's amazing. And where was I going to go with there? Oop, it just went right out the door. I had somewhere I was going to go with how amazing Srimad Bhagavatam is. There we go. Thank you. In this Srimad Bhagavatam, it's following Bhagavad Gita, right? You can, for the most part, Bhagavad Gita is establishing more on the side of karma yoga, right? Krishna's saying, here's our dharma, here's our religious principles, here's our duties. And so a lot of Bhagavad Gita is based on Arjun's conundrum about what he should do. And Srimad Bhagavatam starts to go on to more of the side of Jnana, understanding that, you have a dharma, but what good is your dharma if it's not to fulfill the purpose of getting home back to Godhead, right? And so we start to get to these stories of all these people that are in problems and they have to figure out their dharma, but what is their dharma in the situation? It's to please Krishna so that they can go back home, back to Godhead. So we start to see Bhagavad Gita being practically applied in the situations of Bhagavatam. And it's interesting because, in our culture here that Srila Prabhupada has given us, sometimes we say that we're a Vedic culture. We're actually really not so much a Vedic culture. We're a Srimad Bhagavatam culture. We're trying to apply Srimad Bhagavatam in all the things that we learn, all the situations, all the problems, and we're trying to apply them in our life so that we can live Srimad Bhagavatam. What book is that? What book is Srimad Bhagavatam being lived? It is the spotless Purana. Where I'm going is that we hear Srimad Bhagavatam and we learn Srimad Bhagavatam, and then there's devotees who learn and read Srimad Bhagavatam and they start to apply it in their life. And what book is that? Chaitanya Charitamrita, yes, right? Lord Chaitanya and his associates are living Srimad Bhagavatam culture. As a matter of fact, we just read Sunday a wonderful class given by Anuradha Mataji, where Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, is speaking to Ramananda Roy, and he's saying that these things that we're talking about and how we're acting and how we're doing are really behind the doors, because people will think we're mad. They won't understand. Srila Prabhupada actually says this in the purport, right? And he explains more about it in the purport, that Lord Chaitanya says to Ramananda, I can speak these because I'm a madman and you're a madman. You have to be a madman, a mad person, to come to Krishna, right? I remember, I've kind of overcome it a little bit, but I remember after being so many years in the movement, and one thing that would pop into my head every once in a while is, I am worshiping a little blue boy. Woo! I mean, all of the gyan, the Bhagavad Gita, reincarnation, karma, this. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a really good philosophy. And then every once in a while, it'd pop in my head, you're worshiping a little blue boy. Uh-oh, that's far out there. That's mad. That is mad, But you follow Srila Prabhupada's process of chanting Hare Krishna and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and you start to have some feelings for the blue boy, right? You start to have a personal relationship with him, and you start seeing him act in your life. You start to see the hand of God in your life, and you start to trust more that He's there. And then it's, who cares that he's a blue boy? The only reason we care that he's blue boy is because it's so beautiful and it's so attractive, But we don't think so much more of, what will people think of me? No, he's amazing. He's doing these wonderful pastimes we were talking about in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a question given about, if Krishna's God, why does he need to expand himself as Lord Chaitanya to understand his sweetness? It's kind of, why does he have to do that way? And so one of my thoughts is that, this is the personality of Krishna, is he does it in a personal way. He's showing us how sweet he is by these amazing ways he's doing it. And from that amazing arrangement made by Krishna to speak his sweetness, we start to hear those pastimes, and we start to get a little bit attracted to them, right? Matter of fact, that's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the reason why he's appearing on the earth, right? It's because he's going to do these pastimes, and his devotees will start to hear about them, and they'll start to be attracted. So we're living a Srimad Bhagavatam culture. We're not so much trying to live a Vedic culture, right? Vedic culture, as we understand from Srimad Bhagavatam itself, is not enough, right? Vyasadeva says, I've written all the Vedas down. I've produced all these amazing literatures, but I don't feel satisfied. And Narada Muni says, after chuckling at him, says, yes. He says, you've only encouraged people to gratify their senses through religious principles and Vedic principles. So we're not trying to live Vedic culture. We're trying to live Srimad Bhagavatam culture. Said that in Srimad Bhagavatam, I've heard explain that every psychological situation that we can come across is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. What does this mean? When I heard it, I was really I kind of track to psychology. I really am interested in human behavior. Why do people do things they do? And, so I was like, wow, okay, every psychological situation is Srimad Bhagavatam. And the story, the details can change, but the principles are there. Often when you listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see there's a principle going on here. There's something going on here that, and I've actually gone through that situation, or I've seen my friend gone through this situation. And the story around it is amazing because it's Srimad Bhagavatam, we have demigods, and we got demons, and we got, wonderful devotees, and we got Narada Muni who's traveling here and here. And the thing is when we listen to the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam, we start to see that, like, oh, you know what? In the temple right now, this thing's going on, and it's kind of like this story in Srimad Bhagavatam. What part am I playing? Oh, I'm playing this part, And what did the lesson that person learn from their part that they played, or how are they doing it to pleasing Krishna? And we can start to go through it like that. We can start to see in a vision of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? One of my dreams, or my thought is that wouldn't it be amazing if our whole community was reading Srimad Bhagavatam together in different ways? And what I mean by that is, like, some people want to go through it more detailed in some ways, and some people will, like, for instance, Krishna House curriculum, we read a bunch of verses, right? And because it happens to give more of the story in a shorter time, right? However, we could have study groups that are going, well, if you can listen to the class during the morning, listen to it, and then we'll get together and we'll talk about more of the purports. And my thought is if this was to happen, that you would see a flow in our community that goes along with Srimad Bhagavatam. You would start to see the stories, that there would be things that would start to go on in the temple, and you could be like, we're in the 6th canto right now, and this is going on, and like this is the answer to the thing that's going on. Nanda Braja, you're being silly. No, I've experienced this. For the last 2 years, I was the director of Krishna House, and when you're immersed in learning and teaching and hearing about Krishna, you over and over again see that you read Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the evening when you're reading Bhagavad Gita, and they're like, wow, these are the same. And you'll start to see in the house, you'll start to see issues that are going on, dramas, that are in line with what you're talking about in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And it happens, it happens, and you're going, wow, this is really interesting. This is pretty cool. And eventually you're just like, this is Krishna's arrangement. They're like, this isn't coincidence. This isn't chemical things hitting this, atheist thing. No, Krishna's arranging for this certain thing to go on in the house, and we're reading Bhagavad Gita. I mean, it happened over and over and over again, and it was just so amazing. So Srimad Bhagavatam culture, what is our temple for? What is the temple here for? And it's to develop these nice relationships and practice Krishna consciousness and educate the society at large, right? Educate her. So anyways, I don't mean to get on a tangent, but I was thinking that would be, I'll put that out there in the ether, and maybe at some time it happens and we all get together and go, okay, how can we read Srimad Bhagavatam together, In the sense that what I'm trying to say is we follow along with, everybody's in the 6th canto around these chapters, and stuff. I think it would be pretty cool. Anyways, the 6 questions, and we're going to hear from Suta Goswami. We're living in a Bhagavatam culture. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the actions, the devotees living in a Bhagavatam culture. Suta Goswami is going to answer these questions. When we're teaching and learning, it's really important to ask questions, right? And the sages of Namasharanya are very intelligent in that they're asking these questions because they're not only good for themselves, but they're good for all of humanity. And so you you can almost, I'm going to go on a limb here and say, you can find an expert not by how they speak on the subject, but the questions that they can ask from the subject. That's an amazing the person that they can sometimes suspend their I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that, and they can ask a question because they want to hear from the person to expand their understanding of the situation. So it's kind of one of the things that you can look in and say, well, these sages know the answers to the questions. But the nectar is in asking the question and suspending your I know this, and I know the answer, to see how is this devotee who is practically living this question that I'm asking, how are they going to give it their perspective, their answer, and how can it expand on my perspective? And when you listen to devotees speak on the same subject, that's why, partially of why, besides that it's the absolute truth, that we can get more out of it, more and more and more. Like, oh, I've never seen it from that side of point of view. Or they might even say something that you've heard before, and they say it in a way because of their adhikar, their experience, their qualification, that you just get more out of it, right? And so it's said that in any classes, or that there's a qualification of the speaker and there's a qualification of the listener. And they're working together. It's not that we just give the Vyasasan to somebody and we say, okay, you do the job. No, we need to be actively participating. We need to be actively listening, actively trying to think about how. One thing that's really powerful is if you think, how could I teach this? What am I hearing, and how can I teach that to others? That's you'll if you want to expand your memory on anything, specifically Srila Prabhupada's book, when you read it, think about how you could teach it to others. And the way it hits is just different. When you start to think of a mood of a Sankirtan devotee, how am I going to share Krishna with others? Krishna really reciprocates in such an amazing way that it really hits much more, and you'll remember more. In addition, when the speaker who's speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam, it's also mentioned that the most part of what is being spoken is on their character. Most of you guys will forget in an hour 90% of this class. Probably 99%. In a day, we'll forget 99%. However, the impression that we get from speakers and how they influence our life, we really get from their character. Say, oh, I can hear this person speak from the heart. I can hear their experience in it. I can feel their desire to please Krishna. I feel their desire to speak from the. I can't help but say this. I apologize if it's embarrassing, but Manjari Gopika, she so much time goes. She'll admit her thing. You guys can see that I've written it down, and all I do is repeat. However, every class that she gives, it's like, wow, that was a great class. And it's because her character is this deep desire to please Srila Prabhupada and her guru. And so you get so much out of it, And so Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada Bhagavatam culture is helping us with this, helping us with our character, helping us with a character that isn't just gyan, it's vegan. We understand Bhagavad Gita, we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we hear from the devotees, and then we get a chance to apply it and we lives in our life, and we get some understanding, and then we share it with others. And so in the very beginning of class, I was mentioning that I'm encouraging people to want to give class during the weekdays because we're low on speakers, to please come say something. So if you think that I'm not talking to you, that I'm talking to somebody else, right? We do that when, especially in an audience, right? Oh, they're not talking to me, they're talking to that person. So I am talking to you. I'll make it clear right now, I am talking to you. And if you, please take the opportunity to speak on Srila Prabhupada's books, to share with the devotees. And how was I going to say this? Your sincere desire to do the best you can is the character. People feel it. Devotees, for the most part, are very tolerant. Oh, this person made a little mistake here. No, that's not. Hey, However, it's really hard to be tolerant of somebody who is anyways, I'll say maybe not showing some good character qualities of a Vaishnav. That makes it hard to listen. I'm not saying that we can't get past it through our tolerance and through we can extract the nectar out of it. But oftentimes it can be kind of a block when we're having some difficulties hearing through somebody's characteristics. Anyways, I'm going to end there before I talk myself into trouble. I apologize for the rambling to a certain degree. I wasn't prepared for class. I just came out. Anyways, any questions, comments, thoughts, expansions? Hare Krishna. Yes, Chandrasekhar Prabhu. I'm sorry, I didn't get out the mics. Oh, there we have a mic.
Thank you, Prabhu. Just on the topic of Vedic culture versus Bhagavatam culture, one could theoretically claim that Vedic culture is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam culture. I mean, in the 15th verse, chapter 15 of the Gita, Krishna says, right, Vedaischa Sarvairaham, of all the Vedas I am to be known. I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that you could literally burn all the Vedic literatures, and if Bhagavatam remained, nothing would be lost, right? Wow. So in that sense, we could say that Vedic culture is only, exclusively Bhagavatam culture.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Thank you. Mr. Bhagavan Prabhu.
Often in the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada starts a sentence with, in Vedic culture. And then he'll end a sentence with something that, as far as I can see, nobody's doing, either in ISKCON or outside of it. Like Prabhupada will say, well, in Vedic culture, all women should be married before puberty, or all men can have many wives, or in Vedic culture, everybody should grow their own food. In Vedic culture, everybody should grow their own food and have some cows. So Prabhupada, as you read along, he's constantly starting sentences with in Vedic culture, and then he'll say something that nobody's doing now. And so I'm wondering, like, what does he mean by in Vedic culture? Does that mean, is it like a history lesson of how people used to live thousands of years ago, or is it a goal of how we should want to live, or is it something else?
Well, Srila Prabhupada is giving us a foundation of how best to come to Krishna And so therefore, it's so broad that he's giving us so many instructions how to come to bring our consciousness up. Srila Prabhupada says, before we become Krishna conscious, we must become conscious, right? So many different times you can see Srila Prabhupada speaking at the level of what that person needs to hear at the time, and the truth in that, but also you have to go beyond it to get the bigger picture that Srila Prabhupada is speaking on, right? So Srila Prabhupada can speak on principles of sattva gun, right? And how to get past, how to come up to sattva gun, how to come up to the mode of goodness, and so therefore that we can overcome the victimization of passion and ignorance, right? And so that it can become easier to become Krishna conscious, right? Does somebody need to become to the mode of goodness to become Krishna conscious? No. Actually, like that's a byproduct of Krishna consciousness. We don't have to come up to it. So Srila Prabhupada has done an amazing job of being just do it for Krishna. Just become Krishna conscious. And through becoming Krishna conscious, we develop a relationship with Krishna, and Krishna starts acting in our way to guide us through, to help us to grow and grow and grow in our Krishna consciousness. So a person like that doesn't need to go on a farm. They don't need to go on, they don't have to marry at 13 or 14 or have arranged marriages or this or that, or like you remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Listen to devotees. There's principles that Srila Prabhupada's giving us. So my point is if you look at Srimad, what I hope to communicate is that in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's so many things going on that are, you can even get confused because you're like, wait, this isn't Vedic culture. That person, that demigod is not doing something like this, right? But yet they're in the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam and how Krishna is working through Srimad Bhagavatam in these stories. And our life's a lot like that, right? We can't. No, it's not that we can't. A lot of us are in a situation not to be able, that living a Vedic culture life is impossible. It's like, dude, I'm from America. Like, how am I supposed to have a milking cow and this and that? But we start to understand the principles that Srila Prabhupada is giving us, and through Srimad Bhagavatam's books, and we start to see how can I apply it in my life. And so then we make adjustments so that we can live Krishna conscious lives. What do you think? Anybody want to expand on that? What's that? So yeah, just to expand a little bit, what I'm trying to communicate is that Bhagavatam is giving us so far out situations, and we have far out situations, and we can come to Krishna consciousness. We can learn, we can make adjustments, we can do, and it has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with the Vedic culture in the sense that we need to understand, my dharma, this, and this. As Prabhu mentioned, we should understand that by pleasing Krishna, we are going to find a way to live Vedic culture, right? So we're living Srimad Bhagavatam culture that has Vedic culture. I remember one time I was speaking and Mukunda Datta Prabhu gave me a real perspective because we were talking. I can't remember what he's like. I can't remember exactly. But the point he was making is that everything is in Krishna consciousness. We don't need to go outside of it to get something. Within it is everything. If you have $1 million, $1,000 is in there. And if we go to Bhagavatam culture, all Vedic culture is taken care of. We don't even, matter of fact, we don't even have to worry about it in a sense like that. We just live by Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Everything is taken care of. It's a spotless prana. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Kaylee. Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Is Srimad Bhagavatam within Vedic culture, or is Vedic culture within Srimad Bhagavatam? Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I feel there are so many great points, like practical and also philosophical. I'm curious about this. Even you say the Srimad Bhagavatam culture, like, but you're saying that a lot of the things in Vedic culture we just cannot really apply. And I find that things in Bhagavatam culture are like even more difficult to apply. Like the way people live there is more like they all do most have milking cows. Like they don't live the way that we live today in the US in Bhagavatam. So then how do we like apply that in our lives? Because I do feel we have to be examples also. I feel that Srila Prabhupada did want us to live this like Vedic Bhagavatam culture so that we can inspire others. And though it may not be so practical in the US, actually we see a lot of people doing it. A lot of people have milking cows. A lot of people are growing their own food. We just have, I don't know, it's not like our main goal, but I'm just curious how to, Bhagavatam culture seems very far, so I don't understand.
Hare Krishna. Stories are so powerful because they go beyond the specifics in the story. You understand. You can see a plot, and you can see what's the essence of the story. For instance, Sridam. Sridam is very poor. He has nothing to give Krishna. I mean, he's dirt poor. Have you ever felt poor before and like you can't give anything to Krishna? You ever feel like, oh, I get where Sridam's coming from? What can I give Krishna? I have nothing to give Krishna. Like, how can I approach him? So there you go. There's one situation where you can understand that you're not Sridam. You have much more than him, but you can get the essence of what's going on. And so this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Quite often we can hear the story. Prahlad is an amazing devotee, but can we put ourselves in the shoes of a hard time that we're going through life and we surrender to Krishna? That's why he's Prahlad. He's showing us we can have an unflinching faith with Krishna that's going to be amazing, and Krishna will protect us. So no, you're not going to be thrown the likelihood of you being thrown in a thing of snakes is not very likely. Very, very, very unlikely. But you can get it. You can say, I'm in a life. Have you ever had it in your life where you feel like you're in a ditch of snakes? People attacking you, biting you, and life is just like, everywhere you turn, you're just getting your backside kicked? No? You never felt like that? Yeah. But Prahlad had a demon father that was the most amazing demon. That's what Prahlad says, right? My dad is an amazing demon. He's the best demon. What's that? Oh, best of the demons, right? Okay. We don't have the best of anything. But we might go through some tough times where we need to really pray to Krishna to help us. Hare Krishna. Yes? Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Vanchika Patarubhyascha. Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
रघुजुग श्री भगवान का। विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो। विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं करो। विचार नहीं कल्पना सद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं करो। राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ भजनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ Sudasudasure